everyone. Welcome to our lunch session Q&A. My name is Selena. I'm the Director of Communications here at Adapt Community Network. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. I know you guys have heard it a few times, but put all the questions for the presenters in the Q&A. There's going to be information on how to access translation services, and just kind of keep your questions sort of general. For this lunch session Q&A, we have some really amazing people from our Adapt Project Connect team here to answer all your questions. We have Kate, we have Gabriella, and we have Nicole and Stephanie. So Kate, I actually have the very first question here for you. So
Great.
What is the eligibility process for OPWDD services, and how long does the process take?
Oh, okay. So that's a great question. So the eligibility process is the process that the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities makes everybody go through to be able to access services like Adapt and other agencies. The eligibility process is a bit lengthy. You need evals that you have to get through agencies like ours and other agencies, a psychological eval, psychosocial, and a medical. Only OPWDD grants eligibility. Then we implement services. So the easiest thing to do to get eligibility and to see if you can get eligibility is go to OPWDD and the front door. And once you're in the front door, there is a series of videos you can watch on the entire process, and they're great. They're broken down into 5-10-minute modules. There's about, I think, 8 to 10 of them. And there's a phone number that you can call, and they can discuss with you the process as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. All right, next I have a question for you, Gabriella. What are the ages of children in your preschool and school age program, and how do I apply?
Okay, so hello everyone. The ages of our students in our preschools are actually, I would say 2.9 to 4, and the most they can be in our preschool programs is 2 years. We get them ready for school age, so when they turn 5, they would go and apply for a school age program. For the school age program that we do have in Brooklyn, they start from age 5 all the way to 20, 21, 22.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. All right, Nicole, I have a question for you now. What is community habilitation, and can children get into ComHab?
Great question. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Pagano. I'm the Director of Family Support Services here at Adapt Community Network. And I just love to talk about ComHab. So ComHab generally is from age 7 upward to aging population. So there really is no cap as long as folks can engage and work on goals. ComHab covers, it's very person-centered. So it covers an array of supports, tasks, goals. It is, to improve anywhere from improving problem-solving skills, executive functioning, so focus and organizing. How do I get things done? How do I plan for things and the things I want to do? Developing social skills. These are things that can happen at any age. So really kind of either laying down the kind of the scaffolding of what are social skills, what makes up a reciprocal conversation, how do I maintain eye contact, things like that, to maybe just like tweaking and things like that, role modeling and working on those kind of skills. So again, at any age, these skills can be worked on. Conversation skills, for the most part, community is in the name. So getting out into your local community, engaging with people around you, getting into the groups that interest you, and hopefully really making natural friendships just by doing that, really kind of getting out there and interacting. Possibly working on hobbies or learning new hobbies, things that interest you that kind of, make us who we are holistically, the things that we do for leisure or, job readiness, things like that. So I can go on and on in terms of what it is. For children, And young adults or aging populations, we also look at independent living skills. So I do want to mention that because that's a very popular request for ComHab. So what are independent living skills? So learning about cooking, you know, Uber Eats is very expensive. So that's hard to kind of maintain yourself on ordering out. And there's some health consequences with constantly eating out or fast food. So cooking and what that means, you know, to you, whatever cuisine, or I want to learn about new cuisines, shopping, housekeeping, hygiene, budgeting, which we all can relate to, money management. What are the difference between needs and wants? I'm still working on that. Travel skills, again, whatever, wherever that person is at, we meet them. So it can be very, very basic. It's one-to-one, so we're always with the person. So health and safety would always be maintained first and foremost. But what does that mean? Using a Metro card to my stop. I can't get off at my stop, so what do I do now? What are some contingency plans for travel? And academic skills, of course. So it could even be assisting somebody with homework. So when they get home from school, they might have some, you know, need some help with that executive functioning kind of, how do I get these 3 tasks, you know, or these homework assignments done within 4 hours, something like that. So in a nutshell, ComHab is person-centered. Everybody explains it and defines it differently because we go with the person's definition of what their major outcome or goal is, and age range is pretty open, 7 to aging populations.
That was a great answer. Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Selena.
You guys are very popular. You have lots and lots of questions coming in. If we do not get a chance to answer all your questions during this session, know that you guys can always email, and anyone here would be happy to answer your questions. Stephanie, I believe this question is for you, but if it is for someone else, feel free to pass it over. What are respite services?
So, hi everyone. Respite services is a place where families or families of loved ones who are IDD can go and get some relaxation, some relaxation. I might not have all the answers for you right now, so I will pass that on to Kate. I am new to Project Connects. Hi everyone. This is my 2nd week, 7th day. I do not have all the answers, but I think that's part of it. And Kate,
Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you so much,
So
Nicole.
happy.
Good.
Thank
Everybody
you,
gets to
Stephanie.
see the face of Project Connect.
I know
Good.
I'm a shining ball of light and I look like I have all the answers, but I don't.
But we're super happy to have Stephanie with us in Project Connect. You've heard
Thank
Project
you.
Connect's name a lot throughout the presentation. So just know Project Connect is your information referral line, not just for ADAPT services, but for services for people with IDD throughout the city. So you can always give us a call. You can email Project Connect, and you can go to ADAPT's Getting Started page, and there's an inquiry form, and we will always get back to you. I will tell you that email is probably a little quicker because we do get a lot of calls every month, and it's hard. I can't answer live typically because I'm always getting calls all day long. So back to what is respite. So there are different types of respite. If you were in the last session, you heard a little bit about that from Rachel Platkus. So our particular respite with ADAPT is an overnight away from home respite. So this is a respite that is for ages 3 and up. I don't know that we see a ton of children in the program. You know, parents may not be comfortable sending a 3-year-old or 4 or 5-year-old to the program, but you can. So this is, and Stephanie was right, this is a break for the caregiver. This has to be planned ahead of time. So you need to fill out the application that is available on our website. If it is for our respite program, you can download it there, work with your care coordinator to get all the paperwork that you need. And you can get quite a lot of hours I like to call them semesters. So if you look at it like from July to December, you can get up to about 4, even more weeks in that semester, but no more than 2 weeks at a time. Then there are other agencies that have in-home respite. Those hours are typically a little bit less time, and the respite is for the individual. So that again is a break for the caregiver. Maybe that caregiver needs to run out and go to a doctor's appointment, or has something standing that they need to go to. So that would be the respite worker would come into that person's home, work with that individual, whether it's a child or an adult, one-on-one, so the caregiver can have a break.
Thank you so much, Kate. We do have around 15 minutes left in this session, and we are getting a lot of questions. I just want to say, if your question's not answered, just email familysummit@adaptcommunitynetwork.org, and someone will definitely answer your question. Kate, we have another question for
Great.
you. Where can I obtain evaluations for reduced fees or for free?
So it depends on who is getting the evaluation. So again, I'll just focus first on our clinics. Our clinic does not do evaluations at this time, but should we resume them, they are only at this time for 18 and above. That could change, so always check in. You can always call Project Connect or email us and find out. But other agencies that do evaluations, YAI, HRC, LifeSpire, OHEL, and again, different, just you have to call and find out, whether they serve children, some of those evals. Also, some of the big hospitals will do evals as well, like NYU and Columbia both have autism centers that can do evals. And YI has autism evals for those who do not have Medicaid as well. So again, the last session, always really great support is the family support guides. Every borough has one, and you can go to the easiest link that I give, frankly, is if you put in YAI family support guides, they have all of them listed on their website, and you can access all of them for the 5 boroughs, Westchester and Long Island.
Thank you, Kate. All right, you're getting a lot of questions, so I'm going to make this your last question. Give
It's
everyone else a
okay. I'm
chance
happy.
to
That's what
answer.
Project Connect is.
So, how do you find out about the adult day have activities discussed in the video? Are they first come, first serve?
Okay, great question. So for our adult day programs, and for actually any of them, it's not first come, first served. It's just based on openings, really, that any program might have. So again, you can email to Project Connect, and I will connect you with, no pun intended, maybe, with our day hab team, and they will do like kind of an intake screening with you and see if it's what setting, what borough that you're looking for. We do have day programs in every borough except for Queens at this time. And then the same for other agencies. You would just have to call them and connect with their day hab programs, whether that's through another agency's information referral line, or they may have that information directly. But again, that is, you have to have an OPWDD if you are going into a day program.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, Gabriella, I have 2 questions for you related to IEPs. So one, how can I add services to my child's IEP? And if my family is moving out of state or outside of New York City, how does the IEP transfer?
Okay, I'll answer the first one first. In order to add services to your child's IEP, you would have to communicate that to the CPSC administrator if it's in a preschool, if it's school age, to the CSC administrator. And that can be done through the intake coordinator at whatever school your child is attending. The CPSC or the CSC administrator will ask for either a rationale or a progress report, and then they will reconvene a meeting to either add the services or not, depending on what the evaluations and the reports say. The second question, I think it related to if you were moving out of state. So same kind of thing. You would communicate with the school that your child is attending. Then they would most likely tell you to reach out to the CPSC administrator or the CSC administrator. And then you would just let them know that you're moving out of state. Usually, if they would connect you to whatever state, provide you with a website or some contact in that other state, you would bring along any of the reports and IEPs of your child. And then what they would do is set up and schedule a meeting, and they may then either, because they're going to have to put them in their state's IEP and create a whole new IEP for your child. So the more you have to provide them, the easier it's going to be when you move to that other state.
Thank you. All right, I got two more for you. I'm going to bunch them together. How can I enroll my child into an ADAPT preschool, and are 12-month programs mandatory?
I'm going to answer the second question first. In preschool, it's not mandatory to attend a 12-month program, but it would be in the child's best interest to attend a 12-month program, and that's why all of our programs are 12 months. It helps with, continuing the child so he doesn't regress while they're off on summer break. So that's why they're 12-month programs. So we always say, we understand families take vacation. So if you're going for a week or 2 weeks, that's okay. But we would encourage them to come for the 12 months of service. Can you repeat the first question?
I can. It was, how can I enroll my child into an ADAPT preschool?
Right. So again, if your child received early intervention, then the coordinator, the service coordinator would then, help you with, depending on what district you're in, and then they would start the whole committee on preschool special ed with an administrator there, and then they would then start the process of having your child evaluated, and then they would set up a meeting to determine what services your child needs, what program, and then from there, they would send the family out to tour different schools with the recommendation, depending on what it is and what related services, and then they would decide on which program best suit their needs, and then they would enroll in that school.
Thank you. Kate, we actually have one more for you. I know I said you were done, but not quite yet.
I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
And then after that, we have a couple questions for you, Nicole. But can there be a liaison from the family from New York State to out of state?
Can there be
A liaison?
okay, so the question maybe, and actually Gabriella made me think of this, I do occasionally get calls from families either that live in New York and are moving to another state, or from another state into New York. So unfortunately, services are not transferable state to state. When you move to another state, you need to apply with that state's OPWDD. It might not have the same name, the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, but every state does have a developmental disabilities oversight. Mostly the eligibility requirements are the same, that you need that full-scale psychological, psychosocial, medical. So if you are moving from state to state, whether it is for adult programs, bring all those evals with you. If you're graduated from high school, make sure you bring those IEPs with you. If you're graduating from elementary or preschool, bring all of those evals with you, because they may accept the evals, but they won't accept the eligibility from another state. So definitely make sure you come in with all your paperwork to back it up. We often even have adults who have never gotten eligibility before the age of 21, 22, and they may be eligible, but if they're over that age, then we have to ask them to go back and get their school record. So easiest to always bring it with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome.
All right, Nicole, what are the most popular FR requests that get approved?
So FR is, we love our alphabet soup. It's family reimbursement. So Selena, you're being fancy. So for family reimbursement, this is such a wonderful program. And it can be, again. So for parents that have, requested family reimbursement and possibly been discouraged over the last couple of years, please, I want you to know that there has been some flexibilities, and things continue to open up, meaning items are eligible again that weren't previously. In terms of processing, things are a little bit easier. So we have a wonderful coordinator for family reimbursement, Danielle Raymond, who's ready and waiting for applications. So I'm just going to plug that real quick, Selena. But for the most part, the most frequent requests that are getting approved are legal fees, in particular for special needs trusts funds. That has gone through quite often. Classes, very popular. Summer camps, you don't need medical justification anymore for classes or summer camps. Classes that have been kind of popular and have gotten approved, karate, dance, soccer, different sports, swimming, very popular. Again, that has a lot of benefits. So please keep that in mind. And our coordinator, if anybody is interested, can walk you through the process. It is a little easier now because of the leniency of not having to get a medical justification. Gym memberships, that's something that we've gotten quite often. You do need a medical letter for that, but it's great, you know, for folks that really need to kind of get out there and get moving. And you know, so, and that could be quite expensive. So, you know, the cap is 3,000 in every borough. But you know, that can cover quite a lot if your loved one needs to start working out, or you. What else do we have? Clothing. So clothing essentially has always been kind of number one. It took a little bit of a dip because it started to require medical justification, and still does. But it doesn't make it impossible. It's just good for you to know going into I need family reimbursement that historically clothing was my child, my loved one, or me have just grown out of my clothing, or my clothes are just old. In some cases, the style has changed. For whatever the reason, you need new clothes. You got reimbursed up to $500 for new clothes. So right now the cap is 3,000 for clothing, which is great. But you need medical justification, and that has been somewhat of a deterrent based on feedback from families. Now, it's still possible to get clothing. Just think about it as a medical necessity. So I did just want to touch on that, just because that's been a major theme for this program is medical necessity for clothing. So if it is, you might have tactile sensitivities and you tend to rip all the buttons off your clothes, which then kind of, you know, you can't wear it after that because they're ripped. Or if you might have some physical disabilities where you drag your leg and you tend to ruin your shoes. Any medical condition that causes that person to wear out their clothing faster than other folks, then that would be a justification for clothing. So these are our most popular, you know, items requested and that are getting approved routinely right now with family reimbursement. So it's looking better in the department. It's looking better for families in terms of application and processing. And as I mentioned, we have somebody that's been doing this for 15 years that is very happy and patient to walk people through to make sure that they can get the maximum amount of money back.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. All right, we have one final question. Either Stephanie or Kate, if either one of you want to take it. Can someone receive services from ADAPT if they don't have OPWDD eligibility?
Sure. Do you want Stephanie, or do you want me to take that? I'll take that. So the answer is yes, but also a little bit of no. So majority of our services, you do need OPWDD eligibility, but we have a few outliers. One of those outliers would be in our home modifications program. We have a grant that serves the general community for home modifications. That could be a ramp, that could be a stair lift, but you do need to meet income eligibility guidelines. And that typically, I see a lot of seniors who are on limited income calling me. The other one would be, and if you're in the very early plenary session with Peter Pederesi and our tech and trade program, where we have adaptive equipment and assistive technology and loaner, that wheelchairs or other equipment that is available to anybody in the community free of charge.
Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you everyone for all your questions and everyone on the Project Connect team who helped answer. I know we didn't get to all of them, but send them in if they didn't get answered. So we are going to take a short 5-minute break before our next session, which is navigating the special education system and the need for good evaluations with Adrian Arkantaki. And I hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.